Welcome back. Over the past several years, the incidence of hate crimes against religious institutions has been on a dramatic rise. In the immediate aftermath of the Hamas attack on Israel on October 7th, Montgomery County Executive Mark Elrich authorized additional funding for security for local organizations and religious institutions. Now, Governor Moore has also released additional state funds in that effort. Maricé, the Montgomery County Anti-Hate Task Force met this week and released its recommendation for the county to the county council. The proposals largely centered around pushing the county council for more funding for anti-hate programs, improved translation and hate crime reporting, and improving anti-racism programs and education in the schools. But is it the government able to change people's hearts and how they feel about other people?
That is the $1 million question, Casey. I think it's a good first effort, a good, strong step forward. Having been a member of the legislature, I represented the areas of Kent Mill, and it's true. Even before the devastating events that we're seeing happen now, unfortunately, these hate crimes have been on the rise. And I'm thankful that we have leaders that are, using the funds, state funds, county funds, to be able to educate and kind of, like you said, change people's minds, change people's hearts. And I think just looking at each other's humanity, no matter your faith, where you come from, I think is part of, being an American. And so this is something that, I think we're all kind of processing. That's why I'm inarticulate in this moment, because it's really an emotional kind of, it's really hitting at my heartstrings. But I think changing hearts, any effort, is good. However, if somebody could come in with a magic wand and automatically take people's hatred away because of whatever upbringing or erroneous ideas that they have, that would be great. But unfortunately, we're human.
Well, let's bring Stacey in on this.
Yeah.
Stacey, Montgomery County is really blessed in its multiculturalism. I mean, we have it's one of the strong points of the county. But according to a News 4 investigation, anti-Semitic incidents are at its highest level since 2016, when the police started tracking such crimes. Mark Elrich had an interesting take on this. The only way to stop anti-Semitism is when we confront this in our communities, live and in person. We can't hide from this. I can't build walls high enough and strong enough to keep people from getting assaulted. How are we going to address these issues? Have we tolerated it, and now we have to, we can't tolerate it any further? What's your thoughts?
Well, we did touch on this the last time I was on your program. And I encourage this support. I think it's a good thing. I think it comes in some ways a little bit too late, because it's part, in my mind, of the defund the police, that we have less police protection out there, thus eyeballs out on the street, people monitoring what's going on. So the next best thing is having security cameras where it's live, and is the closest thing to being live. We can see when these things or these acts are being perpetrated, and hopefully catch the perpetrators that are doing it. So as long as it doesn't violate civil rights, then to me, I approve of it. I think it's a good thing to do. I'm curious to know if they would give that money to the Republican Party.
I would, I would just put in my 2 cents. I think we're colluding issues here. Defunding the police in Montgomery County would never defund the police. And if anything, we are trying to modernize our criminal code so that we're not over policing certain communities. And if anything, if we're shifting our resources to issues like hate crime, then we have resources that are, that now are relinquished to be able to address those issues, and so that we're not over policing certain communities and locking people up because of the color of their skin.
Well, I mean, this is a different topic than
exactly
what we were discussing before, which is the anti racism that's going on, or the racism that's going on in the county, and how you address it. I mean, it's not just anti-Semitic racism. There are racism, but it's against other groups as well. The real question is, if we're going to live in a multicultural society, how do we get along with one another? Stacey, I'll go to you first, and then Maricé, you'll have the last word.
Casey, I wish I knew the answer to that question. As I said the last time I spoke about this, I live in a community where on one end there's a Muslim community center. We have we have a synagogue, multiple Jewish education centers, a lot of Protestant churches, a Buddhist monastery, a Greek Orthodox parish, and a Catholic parish. And I've been living here for nearly 20 years. We've gotten along. We learn to tolerate each other. So when I see the Jews going to the synagogue, going to Sabbath, walking with their families, I think it's a beautiful thing. I see the Muslims in my grocery store that are, with their families. I don't think twice about it. They're just part of this community. The key thing, the underlying thing there is that this is a better educated community here. How do we educate? And that's the key thing. How do we educate tolerance?
That's a great question. Maricé, you have about 30 seconds to wrap it up.
Actually, I feel really great in my community. I represented the areas of Glenmont, Wheaton, like I said, Kent Mill, and it seems to me like the isolated hate crimes that I know that in the Kent Mill community, it was around high schools, et cetera. So some of the issues that we're dealing with here, I think it may be some of new members of the community, and I think starting individuals young, not tolerating, but actually, reaching across the aisle and understanding people's backgrounds. And I think for some of the older folks, it's too late, but starting them young, I think would be the way to go.
I think identifying the issue and working to solve it, takes is a great first step.